So, AGM or lithium batteries. When you are deciding on lithium or AGM for the electrics of your van, the main difference literally comes down to the power that you get, how long the batteries last, and how much the weight is, and then how much cost up front and over time. So, the biggest advantage of lithium over AGM is literally usable capacity. So even though both might rate at 100 amps, which is like amps per hour, an AGM battery should only be discharged at about 50%, so about like 50 amp hours, to basically make sure that the AGM battery doesn't die on you. Because if you drain them too much, you're basically killing the cells inside, which obviously is not great. That's not what you want, and then over time you're gonna have to buy more AGM batteries because you've basically killed the cells, and you can't really bring the cells back. Once you've killed those cells, you can't really bring them back. You can top them up with boiled water, but I wouldn't suggest doing that. I've done that before in my LT because at that point I didn't really understand batteries at all. So you don't really want to do that. Whereas lithium, you can literally take all the power out of it. I wouldn't necessarily say do that, but at least with a lithium battery you can stop it at a certain percentage. So like if it goes lower than like 10% or 20%, you can just shut the whole system down with a lithium battery. You can't do that with an AGM battery. So basically you're only getting half the amp hours out of an AGM, and you're getting pretty much 100% with a lithium battery. Also, with an AGM battery, they trickle charge. So when you have the DC controller and the solar bringing in, they trickle charge really slowly. Especially the closer to 100% they get, the less you're getting from that. So it slows down even more. With the lithium battery, they are constant fast charging. With the DC charger, they are really fast charging. So that's and with the B2B as well. So the DC charger is basically the B2B charger, which is battery to battery. So your engine battery from the van to the leisure battery in the back. So that means when you're driving about, especially for winter, it's great because you don't get much solar. So that means when you're driving about, your van battery is charging your leisure battery at the same time, and it's not killing the battery, which is nice, the van battery anyway. Lithium batteries also last a lot longer than AGM batteries. So a decent lithium battery will give you around 3,000 to 5,000 charge cycles, whereas an AGM battery would typically only manage around 300 to 500 life cycles, so charges. And then you'll probably have to buy another one because they basically fry themselves. They fry themselves, which isn't great. And with a lithium, you can do 240 volt. It's not just all 12 volt. So if you want to plug your laptop in, or you want like a blender, or I don't know, you want a coffee machine, you can do all of that on lithium batteries, whereas an AGM can't cope with that amount of power because it's not made for that amount of power. It's basically literally made for 12 volt. A AGM is made for cars, like your car vehicle battery. It's not made to do anything harder working than that. So it's basically good for if you just want lights and to charge your phone, that's absolutely fine. But if you want anything more than that, so for me, I have an electric oven and an electric hob. So I'll do one on electric and gas at some point. But I have that, and that needs 240 volt. It's basically house faults electrics because it's built for a house, not built for a van. So you're kind of going to want big lithium batteries. But the cost of the batteries are very different. They're very, very different. I would say if you've got like a little T4 or something like that where you do just want to charge your phone and do lights, I would say an AGM's fine, especially if it's a weekend thing. I don't think it's that bad. But if you want something a bit bigger and a bit more full time, you kind of need a lithium battery. So it also comes down to weight and size. So the size of AGMs are actually quite big for what they are. They don't have much in them. So especially if you have space in your van, a lithium battery is typically half the weight of an AGM battery. So they're not as heavy as AGM batteries. They're still heavy, but they're not as heavy. Temperature is where AGM kind of has its advantages. So you can charge an AGM battery even in low freezing temperatures. It's not advised to, but you can. They do it a lot better than lithium. But if you are going to have lithium and you live somewhere where it's cold, where it snows, I would literally just put some insulation around it and it'll be fine. But a lot of the lithium batteries nowadays actually have built-in temperature controllers for the environment. So they, like I said before, they have shut-off points. Lithium batteries have shut-off points, so you can just shut it off at a certain temperature, set it at a minimum voltage as well. So if it's gone below 20%, you can change that and make it so that it just shuts the whole power off in the van. So when the batteries get to a certain, say like 20%, just everything in the van will shut off, all your lights will shut off, everything, until it then goes back up to the right percentage, which is brilliant. But an AGM does not have that, so you can't do that. If you are with the costs of them, they're great. AGM's costs are great, but again, with all of the new like lithium batteries that are coming out, people are realizing, oh, people are using these quite a lot. We need to make sure that they have cut-off points. They have temperature heaters within them, so they have a fan in them. Most of them nowadays do already come with these things, so they've got the heating aspect, they've got the cool down aspect. I would probably say if you are getting a lithium battery, I would put like maybe an air vent in them so that they are getting nice airflow, but then you've got to remember that may also in the winter cause not damage, but make them kind of not work as well, because you don't want them to get too cold, because that can damage the cells in the battery, which is a bit of a nightmare. So a lot of people just insulate around them, which means they stay cool in the summer and they also do not get too hot, which is pretty much perfect. So that is what I would say on lithium or AGM. I would personally go for lithium just because they last so much longer. Like 5,000 charge cycles, that's like years. And I know people that have had lithium batteries for over 10 years in their van, and you know, like every 10 years having to spend like $1,000 on 2 batteries really isn't that bad. Whereas a 500 hour amp cycle, like 500 uses, 500 full charges of an AGM, that's what, maybe a couple of months or a year, and then you're going to have to buy another one. So in the long run, you are spending more money with an AGM than you actually are lithium. Like £1,000 for 2 batteries really isn't bad. Like I've got 2 batteries and they were £600. So £300 each, and they're 410 amp hours. So I've got quite a lot, quite a lot. And it's useful to have more than what you actually need, just in case, because like especially in the winter, if I can charge both of those fully, especially when I'm driving and things, that's going to last me a couple of days if I don't use my oven. Which is why I've also got a log burner, so then I can cook in that as well, which is useful. That was what I would say on AGM or lithium. I would personally go with lithium. There's no point looking at an AGM at all, unless you have a small weekend van. So something like a small size, like a T4 or something like that. That would be what I would say. That would be good if you just want to charge your phone and charge like certain things, because you can also charge your phone when you're driving as well, which helps, which is quite useful. But yeah, you can't really charge laptops or anything off of it. You can't really turn it into 240 volt because it's not made for that. Whereas a lithium battery you can. That would be what I would say on AGM or lithium. Don't bother with AGM, go with lithium. It's worth it because yes, it's a lot of money all at once at the first point, but in the long run you're not having to spend as much money. So if you did like the video, please subscribe, I would really appreciate it, and please hype it because a lot of people are really not sure on the difference between lithium and AGM. So if you think this video would be useful for other people, please go and hype the video. I would really appreciate it. And please like and comment anything else that you have found within the lithium and AGM if I have not brought it up here. Please comment down below and let me know what you think on your AGM batteries and why you chose lithium over AGM, or if you've got an AGM battery and not a lithium battery, just let me know. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. Bye!